let me not score. I said, oh.
Man, so and like here's like what's really crazy. Out of all the flack that I got about players who should be in, nobody complains about me saying Rondé don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
You don't believe Rondé Barber believes to be deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
I say again, Rondé Barber. Everybody seemed to forget Rondé Barber as a cover cone, but everybody remember them interceptions and them sacks. Why do you think Steve Smith deserved to be in the Hall of Fame?
Why do I think Steve Smith does?
Because I know what he did to the Bucks. I was a Bucks fan when he was doing that to the Bucks.
He was unguardable.
I,
and I don't use that term lightly.
He was not. Like you could.
You put a man on. He's not quick enough. I don't care who it is. There was no corner quick enough or strong enough to play bump and run man-on-man coverage with Steve Smith. You get beat every time. Fuck around and not have a safety over top if you want to. He'll blow the top right off your defense.
The Bucks were so happy not to be in the NFC North. And then they ended up in the division with Steve Smith and Mushin Muhammad.
Oh, people really forget about Mushin Muhammad. You had thunder and lightning over there with Steve Smith and Mushin with Jake Delhomme at the helm. They gave the Patriots a run for their money in that Super Bowl. It was one of the best Super Bowls I can remember watching.
Zach Thomas, Zach Thomas for a Miami linebacker was a very good Miami linebacker, but he wasn't Hardy Nickerson.
He wasn't Ken Norton.
Exactly my point. I'm like,
So is this another example of somebody trying to get clout because they showed up to work?
There was Brian Cox, Jason Taylor. There was somebody else on that defense line. I remember later.
But you know what I always, I appreciate linebackers that find the ball. Don't get me wrong. But usually when you lead the league in tackles, your defense is on the field a lot. You're making tackles because you can't get off the field. That doesn't tell me that you're a good defense. You're a good player because you can find the ball, and I appreciate you, especially if I'm a Dolphins fan. Yes, I appreciate you getting to the ball and making the tackle. But how about you do it before the first down line?
So I'll put this out here, and I don't care who don't like it. Is it any secret that Jason Taylor gets into the Hall of Fame, and now there's a push to get Zach Thomas in the Hall of Fame, who have familial ties? We got relatives dating relatives.
Wasn't nobody even talking about Zach Thomas in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Somebody had to say it. Zach Thomas was
I would put Pat Willis with his 6 years in the Hall of Fame before I would put Zach Thomas.
And that's the only thing I said about Patrick Willis. It's not that I don't think if Patrick Willis had to play 10 years, 12 years, Hall of Fame first ballot. Based on the way he was going?
He is the most athletic middle linebacker we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. This is a fact. And this is no shade to Brian Urlacher or Ray Lewis because we all know the damage they did on the gridiron. Yeah. But Patrick Willis is the most athletic middle linebacker. The closest thing we got to him now is Isaiah Simmons. Because Isaiah Simmons fits that mold. He's just a little bit smaller. He got a little bit more height, but as far as bulk, he a little less. But at the same time, Patrick Willis stopped the run, covered tight ends, could run step for step with almost any running back, was a smart player, didn't make a lot of mistakes, showed up to work every day. for his entire career.
And
Pro Bowl every season except one in his career. Now you tell me if he would have played, like you said, 10 years.
first ballot. Easy.
First ballot.
Absolutely easy. And
And don't even get me started. Him playing next to Navarro Bowman wasn't even fucking fair. As a team in the NFC West, I would be dreading playing the 49ers because I know that we're not about to run the ball. It's about to be air it out, pray for the best. Because with Bowman and Pat Willis in the middle, and this is one of the few times in history we've seen teams keep both middle linebackers on the field the
in
majority of the
passing
time,
situations.
even in passing situations, because the Ravens, they would take Jamie Sharper's slow ass off the field in passing situations. They leave Ray Lewis because he can do it, because he that guy. Jamie Sharp had to come out. And that's why Peter Bulwell went to rushing instead of playing coverage. Because they was like, well, we can't take all the linebackers off the field. All right, Jamie Sharp, bring your slow ass to the sideline.
And like I said, I'm looking at this list, and like Henry Ellett. Henry Ellett is a childhood hero, but he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer. And I mean,
and I promise you, the only reason Isaac Bruce is in the Hall of Fame and not Steve Smith is because he played with Kurt Warner. I would bet my last dollar on it.
Steve Smith. Steve Smith was a better version of Andre Rison.
He was smaller too.
He was everything Andre was supposed to be. And the sad part about it is that like a lot of these players that everybody think I'm like trashing for fun, they were Raiders. They were Raiders. Eric Allen, pretty ass. Listen. I got a lot of beef with a lot of players, but this motherfucker was one of the last cover corners in the NFL, head up, man to man, one of the last ones before Revis came along. Was one of the last ones that was like in his entire career, I don't need no zone. I got this dude.
Did you just forget about Champ Bailey?
Oh shit. I didn't really forget, but like Eric came like
Champ Bailey came after Eric Allen.
Eric just was.
Did we just forget about Ty Law and Champ Bailey?
Wait, hold on. It's Ty Law in the Hall of Fame. Ty in the Hall, Champ in the Hall. Eric is not in the Hall.
But I'm saying though, you say Eric Allen, one of the last couple corners. I can name 4 right now. Patrick Surtain, Sr.
Toast.
No, sir.
Toast. Miami Patrick Surtain.
Look, one of the best secondaries in NFL history, Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain. I'm telling you right now. They scared receivers. Quarterbacks did not want to throw the ball. Ty Law, Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey saw the least amount of targets ever by a starting cornerback.
Oh, I think Eric was with. Hold on, let me look at Eric's career because I might got the timeline messed up. He might have been with Dion.
He was in the late 90s.
Yeah. Yep.
He made way for the short cornerback. You know, he played in the time with Darryl Green, Dion, because Dion was never the tallest, but he damn sure was the most athletic person on the field at all times. But then, you know, moving into the late '90s, you get Eric Glenn, 5'9" corner, ran a 4.3, could cover almost anybody. Had a long, successful career.
Hold on, Aaron. It's somebody else on. Like, here's my other question. Rodney Harrison. I don't know how I feel about his career. I think he belongs, but the fact that I think he belongs is a problem.
Well, did he do anything when he was on the Chargers? Or was he just on the Chargers with Junior Seau? When he went to the Patriots, was it did he make the impacts, or was it because he played with Ty Law and had Bill Belichick as his coach? So Rodney Harrison's career will always have an asterisk by it because he doesn't have the individual accolades.
Okay, and see, and that was my thing. Like, all of his accolades are New England Patriots accolades, San Diego Chargers accolades. It's not NFL. So yeah, like the fact that I have to question whether or not he's not in the Hall. But I'm gonna tell you another one. Like, I can't even believe he's here. Albert Lewis is on this list because of Mr. Thomas. Because every quarterback was like, fuck it, so they don't get hit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, dude, like, at this list, I can't give Vince Wilfork no love. Darren Woodson, I don't know what to do with him.
Darren Woodson used to get cooked so bad.
See, that's why I'm like, why am I struggling? Why I don't even need to justify 85% of this list on why they don't deserve to get in the Hall of Fame.
The only reason Darren Woodson's name is mentioned is because he won Super Bowls with Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
That's it.
That's it. He was a liability in the secondary. A liability.
I'm willing to go out on a limb for Dwight Freeney.
Oh, Dwight Freeney 100% should be in because
Mr. Spin Move.
he changed the game.
But
that spin move became the most deadly pass rush move in the NFL. How many 10 sack seasons in a row did he have?
2 minutes in it. And here's another example of one being up and you put the other one up. Why is Robert Mathis up here?
You got to have both. For the same reason we put Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne in the Hall of Fame. For the same reason we put both of them, you have to put Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney.
I think Reggie Wayne might need to wait a year.
Reggie Wayne is a Hall of Famer. If any receiver on that list is a Hall of Famer, Reggie Wayne is it.
He not going in before Andre Johnson. No way, no how.
Oh, no. As a Texas fan, no.
No. Like Antoine Bolden.
Andre Johnson is one of the top 5 receivers of all time. He 100% should have been a first ballot.
Antoine Bolden to play football games with no ligament in his knee. But
he was a tough receiver.
But I'm still like, I don't care what nobody say. Rondé Barber does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Your job was to cover wide receivers, and you got cooked consistently by every top flight receiver in the league. There's a reason when teams went 3 wide outs, he went into the slot and blitzed. Ain't my fault. I ain't make the rules, but we'll go ahead and get this thing started. This thing here. Oh man, did I send you the thing with the Saudis heckling Messi?
Yeah. Somebody put an APB out.
All right, let me get this damn thing started, man. Hold on. Oh man. Oh man. It's been oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, another one. We one man down, 2 men strong. Y'all know what. Oh, TP. Listen, I had to cancel people's childhood today. I'm telling people ain't no Santa Claus. Your favorite player don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, just got me out here looking like I'm the Grinch that stole Christmas. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it out the way now. The NFL Hall of Fame put out its 28 modern era semi-finalists for the Hall of Fame. Dolphins fans, I don't care about your feelings. Fuck you. Zach Thomas is not a Hall of Fame. Get it out the way right now. Buccaneers fans, Rondé Barber is a corner. Does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Cowboys fans, y'all really finna be mad. DeMarcus Ware does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Browns fans, the dude that compared Joe Thomas to Anthony Munoz, I hope every morning you wake up for the next month and a half, you stub your toe on the end of your bed. Joe Thomas and Anthony Munoz are not the same. They are different.
What makes them different? Let's start there. What makes them different?
Anthony Munoz probably played against the best outside pass rushers of his era. Joe, unfortunately, ran into those mid-level guys. Sorry about that, y'all. My computer's acting up. Ran into those mid-level guys. And the fact that Joe Thomas was the best player on a very bad team over the course of several years, and don't get me wrong, Anthony had a couple bad years. They had some bad years with the Bengals. They did. But out those bad years, they found ways to win. At one point, Joe Thomas was on a team that won 0 games in 2 years. Am I wrong? Is that 0 games in 2 years? 0 games in 2 years. And when he retired, let's not like mix nothing up. He probably could have still played another 3 to 5 years. But at some point, he got tired of losing. There are great players that play on losing teams, Barry Sanders. But somehow they find a way to make it into the playoffs and win a game. How many playoffs Joe Thomas played here? Because I don't think they made it to the playoffs until after he retired.
I have to give you a stat, Troy. I got to give you the stat. Out of 6,680 dropbacks, pass blocking attempts, 30 sacks.
Okay.
In his career.
I never said he was not a great player. I said
that is why
the best player on a sucky team.
Doesn't matter. He did his job, and he did it better than anybody in the modern era. There is not a left tackle in the last 25 years that you can say was better than Joe Thomas. Not one. And if you can, I'll wait. Trent Williams, when it's all said and done, he'll be on that list. But as of right now, can you give me one left tackle that's better than Joe? Since he's not a Hall of Famer.
He's not. In my opinion, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Then who's better? Who's better? Name a better offensive lineman in the last 20 years.
Oh wait, Anthony ain't in the last 20 years.
He's not.
Jackie Slater ain't in the last 20 years.
Nope.
Oh man. Oh wow, I'm about to say something that I have been thinking for a while. Offensive line play on the college level and the NFL level has gone down.
Nah. We're not finna skip past this question.
No, I'm saying the fact that I can name anybody better than him and his team's never won is crazy. Wait, hold on. You know what? It's not crazy because it's the same organization that had 19 quarterbacks in 10 years? Was that the stat?
And he managed to keep them off their back, and they still were terrible. So that's not a knock on him, and we can't blame the quarterback carousel tragedy that the Cleveland Browns has undergone on Joe Thomas. He is the best offensive lineman in the last 20 years, and he 100% should be first ballot Hall of Fame. That's my stance on it. Because I can't name one better. I could put Jonathan Ogden up there. But at the end of the day, I can't give you one off his. No, and he was better than Jonathan Ogden. Jonathan Ogden played on a running team in a system to where they had minimum dropbacks through games. They go a game with less than 20 pass attempts. But that's not a knock on him. The Browns were constantly playing from behind, constantly down, constantly having to pass. And every time they did, Joe Thomas did his job. Almost 7,000 pass blocking attempts and only gave up 30 sacks. The stat itself tells you that is a Hall of Fame.
Let me. You need to check the stat on somebody, and it's not gonna compare. It is not. I'm not even.
Ain't nothing gonna compare to that. And I'm glad that I've shown you the light.
I am not. Listen, I'm thinking about it, but I am not on board with that just yet. But what is?
If you're not on board with that,
hold on. Here's my problem with me. The Jacksonville Jaguars right tackle that they just let in the Hall of Fame. I can't think his name right now. Tony Baselli. Okay.
Joe Thomas was better than Tony Baselli. I promise you that.
Oh, Trey Thomas was better than Tony Baselli. Tony Baselli was a right tackle who got in the Hall of left tackle who got in the Hall of Fame for being the blind side when your quarterback is left-handed. You are not the blind side tackle if your quarterback is left-handed.
He played for the Texans at the end too. But I know you're saying that he spent most of his career blocking for Mark Brunell. Yeah, I get that.
So,
but we don't just base it off pass blocking. It ain't just based off pass blocking. Fred Taylor went on to have multiple 1,000-yard receivers. And what happened when his wheels started falling off? Maurice Jones-Drew picked up right where he left off with more 1,000-yard rushing season.
And this is another position. There are not a lot of right tackles in the Hall of Fame.
Besides Jackie Slater and Willie Anderson?
Yeah. And that's because Jackie Slater could play the entire offensive line.
I mean, he did whatever the Rams needed him to do. That's what a football player is.
He did it forever.
Hey, let me tell you something, kids. When you show up to football practice for the first time in your life, and the coach asks you what position you play, you tell him football because at that age you don't know what you're gonna do.
Mhm.
I promise you, there unless you just Ark Manning because he knew he was gonna be a quarterback. The day he stepped on anybody's football field, most kids don't end up playing the position that they start. It's a lot of offensive linemen in the NFL right now that play defense their whole life. It's a lot of defensive linemen that played offensive linemen their whole life. But the thing that you got to understand is you have to be coachable and you have to be flexible. And I think that epitomizes a lot of the players we see in the NFL Hall of Fame. Players that not only could do their job, they could do other people's jobs as well.
So this is TP long time ago in the early years of this podcast. I had a podcast mate who was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And he used to try to explain to me why a blocking wide receiver should get into the Hall of Fame. And I explained to him that I am all for the violence. I am all about the mass destruction of little dudes on big dudes. However, being able to catch the football, run with the football, and score touchdowns is a very important aspect of playing wide receiver.
But Hines Ward did that too, though.
However, when we look back at Hines Ward's career, during his time frame, he was never top 3 at his position. He was top 10, without a doubt, was top 10 at his position.
But if we looking at the hierarchy and then we add in the ability to block, does that raise him up a level? Does that bump him past guys that had similar or a little bit better receiving stats?
I can't. Here's the problem. And there are guys that are on this list that are towards the end of his era and at the beginning of his era.
So here's the next thing that we got to look at. So if stats alone don't automatically paint the picture, now
I wanted it to be his Super Bowls. I wanted it to be his Super Bowls.
That's what I'm getting at. Was he impactful in this team not having a losing record for the entire course of his career? Because how many losing seasons did the Steelers have with Hines Ward in their receiving core?
But when he left, they didn't have losing years either. But here is the thing
I'm
that was telling
about that. I'm talking about when he played, was he impactful to them winning? Was the impact great enough to say it was because of the job he was doing that kept them at that level? Would they have been the same without him?
And that is a very good what if. Because right now, the thing that stands out in my head is that Ben Roethlisberger touchdown after the Cardinals go down and score to seemingly win the game. And Ben Roethlisberger take them down the field and score. And the signature moment wasn't Hines Ward, but I think Hines Ward was was it James Harrison or Hines Ward? I don't know. Between those two, that was the spirit of the team. They were the spiritual captains of the team.
At that point in their careers, they were the veterans. Hines Ward had lost a step. Even though James Harrison returned a pick in that Super Bowl, he wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the fastest. That was the slowest 98-yard interception return I've ever seen in my life.
TP, we not working out. James Harrison is working out. He probably could make a rush to right now based on his workouts. First off, who does
I wouldn't want to get tangled up with him outside the back of a bar. That'd probably be a bad day for me. I'd have to pull out. I'd have to pull out a weapon. I'm not. No.
No, listen. I ain't pulling out no weapon. I'm finna go ahead and get somewhere. I'm finna be standing behind a police officer. You know what? I'd be tough talk behind the police officer.
Him.
Right there.
Him did it.
I will get my Charleston White on.
You
can do whatever you want to do, but these people gonna take you to jail.
Him did it.
But this, and again, and this is what happens, and this is part of the NFL's thing. Mm-hmm. They love to have a healthy debate on their Hall of Fame. And their Hall of Fame isn't as strict as Major League Baseball. Y'all do know that Major League Baseball could put out a list of 50 players and only elect one to the Hall of Fame. They might not even elect any 1 year because there is a certain level that they have to hit in order for them to be elected to the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. The NFL is way looser, more so now than in the past, and it's been widely documented that some of the reporters, when they're in the rooms discussing who's going to be on the ballot, there are friends lobbying for other friends, and which generated Dion saying that there's got to be another wing of the Hall of Fame because they just letting anybody in.
I mean, nothing against Edgerrin James. He was not a Hall of Famer. I loved his speech though. I appreciated it for everything that it meant and that it was worth.
$6 million.
I'm just saying, Dion had a point.
He does. He most definitely has a point. And this list is the embodiment of what Dion was talking about. Because, again, there are a lot of players that I saw play. I want you not to be doing that. I like my computer's fine. But this is the embodiment of it. It is absolutely the embodiment of it. But, man, I am here to tell you, I feel like Vince Wilfork failed a conditioning test. Was that him? No, that was Albert Hainsworth.
Albert Hainsworth when he went to the
Redskins. Yeah, okay.
Failed his physical.
But, like, when I looked up Vince Wilfork, okay, but he wasn't really a Hall of Famer. This is the debate list, and we got Fred Taylor here. Like, Fred Taylor is on this list, and I got to be the jerk to be like, yeah, Fred Taylor and Ricky Waters don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Ricky Waters did everything he could to be back then what they called a scat back. Because remember, they called Marshall Faulk a scat back because he could do it all. But, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's 28. They got to whittle it down to, I think, probably 12, and then they're going to do another one, and by next year, they'll have a list. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, pissing on people's childhood dreams. Y'all just love to say that I hate, but it's not hate. Like, there are players on this list that I want to be like they deserve to be in, but they don't. I got some players in here that definitely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, I feel like they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but they don't. They don't.
Ricky Waters.
10,000 rushing yards, 4,000 receiving. He is like 2,000 receiving yards behind Marshall Faulk, and like $2,000 or 4,000 yards rushing behind Marshall Faulk off the top of my head, I think. Somewhere around there.
For his career, he averaged 1.3 reception touchdowns a year. Less than 10 touchdowns a year. He only averaged over 4 yards a carry 4 seasons in his career. And one of them is 4 yards a carry. I mean, if you give the ball to somebody 350 times, they better get 1,000 yards. That's all I'm saying.
So, they're
because you said that Frank Gore shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. Frank Gore numbers are way better than Ricky Waters.
I know this. I am saying he does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
How is he on this list? Why is he on this list?
Oh, because he got friends in there.
I'll tell you why he's on this list. Because in 1992, the 49ers won a Super Bowl.
That's why. That's why he's on the list.
But that was at the beginning of his career.
Yep.
And most people know him for his time with the Niners because they won a Super Bowl in 92 and 94. In 94, he averaged 3.7 yards a carry and had 6 touchdowns. Not even 1,000 yards. His 1,000-yard seasons came when he left the 49ers, when they had to give him the ball because the teams that he played for after that were terrible. The 90s Eagles, terrible. The Seahawks, terrible. They was giving the ball to him 300 plus times a season for him to average 4 yards a carry. Now I get it. 3 times, that's the first down, but that's not Hall of Fame numbers. That's just doing your job. You showed up to work.
So, I mean, there are dudes on this list that do not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Jari Evans, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I do not know.
I mean, he blocked for Deuce Staley. Put him in there. I mean, not
Really?
Deuce Staley, Deuce McAllister. Deuce McAllister. He blocked for Deuce.
So I'll go bash Joe Thomas and let Jari in.
Nah, can't do that. Can't do that. Look, I'm telling you, if any offensive lineman gets in before Joe Thomas, it is a crime.
And you know what? So I'm gonna keep saying this. What did Lorenzo Neal do for y'all motherfuckers not to carry his flag? He only blocked for everybody that ran behind him got 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Everybody behind him got a new contract. LaDainian Tomlinson, he in the Hall of Fame? He in the Hall of Fame?
Not yet.
Ward done. Mike Allstott.
Sean Alexander.
Y'all thought Mike Allstott was good? Did y'all really think Mike Allstott was good? Because I was a Bucs fan then. I'll tell you right now, Mike Allstott was not good. He didn't get touched till he got to the linebacker.
Mike Allstott fell forward.
He was falling forward behind the linebackers.
Mike Allstott fell forward.
And Ward Dunn is a Florida State Seminole. If you looked at Ward Dunn's jerseys and his pants in the first half of football games, they look clean, didn't they? There was a reason for that.
But Mike Allstott never rushed for 1,000 yards in his career.
He did not?
He did not. Amazingly, he only has 13 total touchdowns in his career.
It's not a shock.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a shot, TP.
Didn't even average 4 yards a carry.
Again, not a shot. Oh man.
This year, King.
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh. But
his best per yard average. He ran for 165. Oh, he ran for 165 yards in 16 games.
Yeah.
So, can we take somebody out the Hall of Fame? Can we take Tony Dungy out the Hall of Fame? Because that was his watch.
I mean, a lot of the running backs. Look, like I said, Edgerrin James, I love him to death, but he's not Hall of Fame. He literally averaged 3.9 yards a carry for his career. He just touched the ball 3,000 times. But he also added on 3,000 receiving yards. So, I mean, I get it. 15,000 total yards, 91 total touchdowns. That's a good career. Super Bowl champion. That's a good career.
Yeah. But that was also in the era of your back is your back. You don't come out the game. And if Marshall Faulk is the top of that era, oh man. Y'all better be glad I ain't on the committee because a lot of you dudes should be getting in.
And we think about it. Edgerrin James and Barry Sanders touched the ball almost the identical amount of times, but Barry Sanders had 3,000 more rushing yards than he did.
And probably had he probably had 3,001 yard or 1 yard loss carries also.
He had a lot of carries for a loss.
Oh.
But then he'll come right back and break the 20. But I don't know if we comparing apples to oranges there.
Wait. And here's the reason why, I carry the male gray flag.
I mean, even Emmitt Smith averaged 4.2 yards a carry.
Yeah.
He got the ball 4,004.
But TP, think about this. If you give a dude 4,000 yards and you know nobody's going to touch him till he get to the linebackers. By the way.
You talk about Emmitt?
Emmitt. Nobody's touching him till he get to the linebackers.
He did his job. He played behind one of the best offensive line.
And I'm not knocking that. But we're not looking at the Emmitt Smith highlights.
To the tune of 18,000 yards. That is an astronomical number that we will never see. I like Nick Chubb. I like Derrick Henry. But there's no fucking way.
No.
There's no fucking way. Teams don't believe in their running back long enough.
I want everybody just to remember when Barry retired.
Emmitt Smith had something on Jerry Jones.
What you mean, Jerry? He played his last 2 years in Arizona.
That's because he wanted the record.
Yeah. Listen, when Barry
and the Cowboys was just like, come on, man. You've been holding us hostage this whole he held them hostage for the last.
All I know is when Barry retired.
Yeah, the last 3-4 years of his time there.
Emmitt was 2,000 yards behind Barry when Barry retired?
Yeah. But 21,564 scrimmage yards and 175 touchdowns. Insane. Insane career, Emmitt. Insane. Nobody will ever match that. I hate the Cowboys, but I tell you what, Emmitt Smith, one of the best to ever do it. And I'm not talking about just showing up to work. I'm talking about somebody who rain, sleet, or snow showed up to work.
Yeah, he
He played the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl with a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of y'all ever dislocated your shoulder. It is not fun. If you was to dislocate, I'm pretty sure 95% of y'all, if y'all dislocated y'all shoulder, y'all couldn't go fucking flip burgers at McDonald's, let alone carry the ball against the Buffalo Bills in a Super Bowl. That's my stance on that one.
Well, I've beat up on the kids long enough. I'm sorry. Christmas is canceled. I'll see y'all when they announce the actual Hall of Fame numbers. Oh, it's been.
But last thing before we get off the Hall of Fame talk, Hall of Fame, we need a slot for special teams because I'm tired of this debate on whether or not this person should get into the Hall of Fame based on the stats outside of their special team number. Because 19 return touchdowns for Devin Hester, that's Hall of Fame worthy. If there's a slot for special teams. Looking at his receiving numbers, no, there's not. Look, I mean, he was drafted as a corner, but I mean, he probably couldn't cover a bed. The most dangerous return man ever. When you are the best ever at something, that means you need to be in the Hall of Fame for that. But that's my stance on it before we move along. Because if they do, that door gonna get bust wide open. Brian Mitchell in there, Dante Hall in there. There's gonna be some names. Joshua Cribbs. Hell, Jacoby Jones was one of the greatest returners we've seen in recent history. That door gonna have to be open. And if they open it, guess what? We're gonna start to see more players being drafted specifically for special teams. Mm-hmm. I think if Mecole Hardman only returned punts, he could be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, because his receiving career is not working so well.
No, that's why they went out and got, other guys after Tyreek Hill left. They was like, well, I mean, Mecole Hardman is good, but he's not really the answer. That's why they went and got Juju.
Well, but apparently, Mahomes ain't that accurate according to the cheetah. Fucking boy. All right, so since we're talking about quarterbacks, Zach Wilson has been benched, and they're going to turn to Mike White as the starting quarterback. For those who are not paying attention, the New York Jets held the New England Patriots to 3 points defensively. And the only reason New England won the game is because of a special teams return touchdown as the clock expired. At the end of the game, Zach Wilson was asked, do you feel like you let the defense down? Mind you, he passed for 77 yards. His response to said question was no. You ever been at a job, TP, and you had to do somebody else's job?
The funniest thing I've seen all week was Booger McFarland saying he has never been held responsible or accountable in his life. Yes. And Steve Young tried to defend him, and the whole time RG3 is just sitting there like, let me not say nothing. Because let's be honest, whether or not he came from money, when you're the quarterback, there's a certain responsibility that comes with that. When your team only scores 3 points, I'm blaming the quarterback. I'm blaming the offensive line. I'm blaming the running back. I'm blaming the coach. But first and foremost, if my quarterback only had 76 yards, you didn't do your job, sir. You didn't. I'm sorry to be the one to break the bad news to you. But 76 yards don't get it done in the NFL. Even if you're a running team, we got to get at least 150. Can we get to the red zone more than one time in the entire game?
So I remember
his ass too.
All the quarterback gurus and analysts saying that, to be a competent quarterback in the NFL, you need to be passing for 50 or completing 60% of your passes. His career, he's 55.6. This year, he is 55.6. His career interceptions, touchdown interceptions, 13 interceptions to 13 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. This year, he's thrown 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. So, if you're a wide receiver for the New York Jets, I see why they don't want to be there. I see why.
They are wasting Gary Wilson right now.
You got your receivers saying that we need to correct problems in practice. They're openly saying he don't know the plays. If anybody else would have alluded to the media that the quarterback didn't know the playbook, it'd have been a problem. Now, to Robert Saleh's credit, even though he's still trying to shoot this boy some bail, who has at every turn from every scout has said the same thing consistently. He's never been held accountable. He's a bit of a jerk, and he doesn't like to take responsibility. And he played in New York. Do you know where you playing at?
Let me tell you something. There's a movie called Draft Day. And the entire time they're talking about this quarterback, you can tell he kind of comes from money, he's arrogant. He put up good numbers in college and all that. And then there's this hometown kid who works hard, had a great career, but the knocks on him is he may not be smart enough to be in the NFL. The scout ended up trading away his picks so he can get the quarterback. Realized he didn't want the quarterback. I'll tell you why. They gave the quarterback a playbook, and then the next day asked him, how do you feel about the playbook? Is that something you can work with? And he was like, oh, yeah. I can work with anything, but that one, it was good. It was good. I can work with it. The playbook was blank. He just fucking lied. You don't want that as your quarterback.
Nope.
Zach Wilson, if you don't know the plays, you don't need to be the quarterback. Let me tell you somebody who knew every play. Peyton Manning. Tom Brady.
What's crazy is that this team is ready to win now. The AFC East is what the AFC West was supposed to be.
Nah, don't do that. Y'all suck.
No, I mean, at the beginning of the season, it was supposed to be competitive.
I said it. It
was supposed to be competitive all the way.
I said it in August. I said the Raiders didn't compete.
It's really all. I'm gonna just go ahead and be honest. I knew that the Denver Broncos was going to be trash. I did not, however, figure that Josh McDaniels would screw up a team that made the playoffs so bad.
I mean,
He's going to take a swing at Carr. That's been his whipping boy all season.
When you barely won games all season, I'm talking about last year.
I'm talking about that too.
You barely won, scraped by the hairs on your chinny chins.
Yeah. Who was on TV? We had no number one receiver last year.
You did not get better. You brought in Devontae Adams. Ooh. You did not get better.
If we had that same offense from last year and got actual production from Chandler Jones, the defense would be better.
And here's another thing. When you completely change an offense, there are learning curves. If your quarterback doesn't really fit the system that you come from or your style of play, you're not going to be incredibly successful. Those are just facts. Derek Carr is not the quarterback for McDaniel's offense.
What? Here's what these brainiac coaches. You have this talent.
He needs a mobile quarterback. Derek Carr is a statue.
But he had Tom Brady for years.
Tom Brady coached that offense. Don't let the stats fool you.
And that is my point.
Don't let the smooth case fool you. Because Tom Brady will school you. Tom Brady was the coach on the field.
And this is my problem. I have a problem with Josh McDaniels and I have a problem with Carr. My problem with Josh McDaniels is you one of these offensive gurus that nobody can tell you nothing. But you got sweet potato pie ingredients and you steady trying to make pumpkin pie. It's not going to work. And Derek Carr, after the season you had last year, if you start changing plays on the field and calling more run plays when he just loses his mind and want to call 55 passes, you have the cachet to do it.
He got to get his numbers, though.
Carr wasn't getting numbers last year. But now, to be fair to Carr, to be fair to the offensive line, we're playing with Moreau at tight end. When we spent $55 million on a dude who can't get on the field to where Vegas media is questioning whether or not he's committed to playing football. Because hamstring injuries, they don't just go away. And in order to prevent hamstring injuries, it's your workouts before the season starts. The hamstring injuries and shin splits, you train the exact same way to prevent them because they don't go away once they show up. They are with you for the entire duration of the season.
What did Boogie Miles say the game before he had his career-ending ACL injury? Oh, I ain't got to work out. This is God given.
And that's the problem.
There, Waller. We get it. You 6'6", you run a 4'4". I get it. But if you're not in tip-top shape, injuries happen.
There is always the Michael Jordan thing. When Michael Jordan got injured and he realized that it could mess up his money, he got a nutritionist, he got a trainer, and he went to boot camp and got his body in physical condition.
LeBron James spends $1 million a year on just keeping himself healthy. Because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Your best asset is your availability. If I can't use you, then I don't need you. The definition of being useful is being able to be used. At that point, you become useless. You get where I'm going with this. It's not a play on words. These are facts. If you cannot be used, you are useless.
My rate is like, oh man, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. We're gonna see how this work out. Quick note. The Denver Broncos released Mr. Fumbles himself.
He should have got released week 2.
Yeah. So and
That's
I get it. Fumbles.
True. It's not true, by the way. It was jokes. But I know what you're gonna say.
His fumbles did hurt the team. But Russell Wilson, Mr. Neighborly, man, you had Denver fooled. And TP, he signed that contract so fast. Oh, y'all gonna give me guaranteed money? So fast. And, Staley is getting a lot of heat.
As I crack open another one, I envy Russell Wilson. You know what?
I mean, Hackett, I'm sorry.
You know why I envy Russell Wilson? Because I wish I could get paid millions of dollars to be horrible at my job.
You know what? I respect TP. And I'm going to say what he cannot say because it's unsafe for him to say it. I, too, would like to be Russell Wilson. The money is nice and all, but I would like to be Mr. Neighborly. Do you know the perks of being Mr. Neighborly? Everybody's looking at you going, I see you, boy. I see you, boy. I see you. Who don't? We absolutely love our families, but who don't want an R&B chick? I'm just saying. It's rappers.
He get that customary, bro to bro. I see. But keeping it professional. His performance on the field does not match the amount of money the Broncos are paying him. That is all I'm saying. I think I said that as politely as possible.
Let's see. So Key and Phill have this Obama translator that they used to do. I'm gonna go ahead and translate the TP. Mr. Neighborly is playing like shit. His teammates want to fight him in the locker room. Oh, wait, they got to go up to his office to fight him. If there was ever, like we talk about Tom Brady missing passes, we talk about Aaron Rodgers missing passes. I could have thrown some of these wide open passes in the end zone that Mr. Neighborly was missing. You show up some quarterbacks in the league because they're new and they're young and they don't know what's going on. You can show them quarterbacks up. They figure it out. And they be like, don't you ever show me up again. Tom Brady, you're not showing up. You're not showing up Aaron Rodgers. Although this year you probably should. You're not showing up Derek Carr. You're not showing up. You're not showing up Tua. There are quarterbacks that you're not showing up. The third-year wide receivers are showing up Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson. And it's nothing. And the reason it's nothing is because he is the worst quarterback in the division. Bar none. Well, Troy, how can you say that? Because we beat him twice. And TP said our quarterback was trash. So, process of elimination, he's the worst quarterback in the league or in the division. Now, they can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. And would you believe they still have a top 10 defense? So if the Jets quarterback is holding them back, what's holding back them?
A $30 million a year contract.
With $180 million guaranteed.
It's a lot of cocoa butter you can buy for
a lot of fur coats and TikTok videos with Sierra. That's what that is.
But like I said, I wish I too could get paid millions of dollars to be terrible at my job. Because when you make that much money and you already have a ring, what else are you playing for? I think this brings me back to a lot of so a lot of people don't know this about RG3. He is a smart man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, outside of the football field, you know, Baylor by itself is a very prestigious college, academic wise. But he said something that has always resonated with me. And he said that he got it from somebody, but you know, we use and reuse a lot of quotes and sayings. But his biggest thing was know your why. Why do you show up to work? Why do you do your job? Why do you go about the things that you do the way that you do? And if you can't answer that question, then you need to really rethink the reasoning behind your actions. And for some people, their performance. When you underperform, there's a reason for it. Either you're not applying yourself or you're not that good. So for us, which one is it?
I'm gonna let that go. Also, like for those of y'all,
but we've seen them do it before though. So let me tell you something. There's a reason why I wouldn't show somebody all the good things I can do, because then it becomes expected. And since he's done it, got paid for it, it is expected. That is how contracts work.
So before I get to the RG3 thing, coaching matters. And in this era of athletes and media and TV and all of this hyper focus on the players, and rightly so. we have forgotten that coaching matters. We have forgotten that Pete Carroll really is that guy. Coaching matters. And so when you go from a Pete Carroll who's very regimented in what he wants his team identity to be, what he wants the goals for the team to be, how he puts his teams in position to make the playoffs, it should have been obvious to us that Geno Smith was going to be successful. But we kind of laughed, was like Geno Smith or the other kid that we ain't seen all season. Oh, the Trevor Simeon or whoever. Like, it's like, oh, this team is going to be dead last in the division. They are going to make the playoffs. And if you mess around and get them in the early round, you might go home. So that's just to be said. Also, for you guys that like on TikTok or whatever, RG3 TikToks with his wife are hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Y'all got to check that out. And again, I know we was talking about Zach Wilson, but there was a whole quarterback conversation that we needed to have. It needed to be had. Can we go ahead and put Green Bay in and not going to make the playoffs part? We can put Green Bay there because
I put Green Bay under the Lions. So no, they're not making the playoffs. But I tell you what, let them Lions sneak into the playoffs. I would not want to play them.
Lions can run the ball.
Lions can run the ball.
However you want the ball run at you.
Swift, I don't want to see that. I want zero problem, big fella. Let me tell you the three teams that everybody should be worried about if they make the playoffs. The Seahawks. No, I'm gonna say 4 teams. 4 teams. The 4 scariest teams that you don't want to see in the NFC playoffs. Seahawks, Niners, Lions, and the Commanders. You do not want to see these teams. They're physical, they run the ball, and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Coaching matters. Coaching matters.
Cowboys, Vikings, Eagles, y'all look good. You look good. We just saw what happened to the Vikings. Oh my God. Y'all got the ball ran down y'all throat. You can't stop the run, you're not gonna win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, that it historically speaking, it does not work. If you cannot stop the run, you are not going to win a Super Bowl. Unless you have Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt. They were the exception because they finna put up 40 points. Oh, and Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. But outside of them, yeah, you Vikings, y'all can't stop the run. I ain't worried about y'all. Y'all got Kirk Cousins as y'all quarterback. I'm not worried. Eagles, y'all can't stop the run either. I ain't worried.
I'm gonna get there in a second. I just want to say this real quick. The Green Bay
Cowboys got
Packers.
Dak Prescott. I'm not worried.
You want to fight? Well, then come on.
Oh wow, TP just all right. Cowboy fans, send your hate to TP. Y'all can send y'all hate to me in a few minutes. The Green Bay Packers are going to have to either pay Jordan Love or he's going to get another contract somewhere else and has never played in the regular season.
Hey, y'all ever had like a petty ex?
I'm the petty ex.
I had a petty ex-wife, and we had, it's my name, but we had Parker in letters on the wall, and her name had an A and a K in it. Came home from work, took the A and the K off the wall, took it with her. That is petty. You know what else is petty? Staying around while you have a player who's probably better than you and just staying because you have longevity and you know they're not going to cut you, but he's probably better than you. Pretty petty. Aaron Rodgers went through this thing a couple weeks ago where people was like, man, his heart just not in it. I don't know. He just, the way that he's playing, it just seems like he don't care. And then he had to come from behind victory, and he's woohoo. Aaron Rodgers, you're not fooling nobody, bruh. You're not fooling nobody. You just playing just cause you just want to play. You just here for no fucking reason. At this point, he need to retire.
$50
He's
million.
not he's not who he used to be. And I used to be a big Aaron Rodgers fan. Even being from Chicago. I still had a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers because he's a bad man. Even a couple weeks ago, like I said, the coming back from 2 touchdowns. Then you have a game where you're lobbing passes to the defensive lineman like lazy, and that's why they start saying that. But your heart not in it. We can tell. It ain't been in it. You let Jimmy Garoppolo come to the frozen tundra and beat you in your house. Porn star Jimmy, you let Troy laugh at you for losing to Jimmy Garoppolo. Laughed.
Oh my.
That's petty. You know, but you know why he petty? Because Brett Favre did the same shit to him.
Oh. I sit back and I think about everything that Green Bay could have been this year. And I keep coming up with the same thing. I keep coming up with the same.
With what receivers, though?
But here's my thing, right? I get it. What receivers?
I told you they were going to be terrible. On this podcast, go back to any of our podcasts.
6'5" 240 GB.
I don't care. The man couldn't run a route if the route was straight.
Hold on. What is this?
I said it on this podcast. The Packers do not have any talented receivers. You can be fast, you can be tall, but that doesn't make you a great football player. Now, he's young. That doesn't mean that he can't develop. But I'm saying as of today, right now, the Packers do not have a viable number 1 wide receiver. Nor do they have a quarterback whose heart is in the game.
As of the last 2 games, TP, all he do is catch touchdowns. That's. But I will say this: they don't have If you combine all the receivers on the squad, they got 1.5 wide receivers.
In this day and age,
You need 3.
that don't get it done.
I agree. You need 3.
That does not get it done.
I will agree. You need 3.
You need at least 2. A third is nice.
But yeah.
And if you don't have a good third, you better damn sure have a decent running game. Because right now, tell me a receiver for the Titans. Give me a Titans receiver. Don't worry. I'll wait.
I'm not going to do that to myself. I cannot.
But they're still moving the ball because they have a running game. My point is, if you do not have the talent at the receiver position, you better damn sure be able to run the rock. The Packers can do neither.
I don't even want to talk about the Packers no more. TP done made my head hurt trying to figure out who the wide receiver is for the Tennessee. I mean for the Tennessee Titans. I'm mad now that I can't name one.
It be like that sometimes.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I fucked you up with that one.
Yeah, you did. You hurt my feelings on that one. Hurt my feelings on that. Fans, I apologize. I've turned off all the sounds on the computer, and that one device is still causing the issue. So I apologize. This is a live broadcast. You get live broadcast issues. So the NBA said, you know what? The NFL got drama. We got some drama too. Patrick Beverley.
We don't care.
Patrick Beverley. In a game against the Phoenix Suns, he got upset that his teammate had got pushed down and elbowed kind of decent. He ran over and pushed DeAndre Ayton down from the back and then took one step towards him like he was going to do something and then gave the all too famous hold me back, like slow motion walk as the referees was running over because he knew they was coming. And his statement was, I'm a foxhole guy. When I commit to a team, my teammates, to a city, I'm a foxhole guy. Dude, we get it. You worked your way up from the mud to get into the league. We get it. You ain't got to prove you the toughest and baddest all the time. Because you're not really a big dog. Like, if you're pushing people behind the Phoenix Suns behind specifically, you don't sound like a big dog. You sound like a little chihuahua. Like, you got some personal beef with that team. Like, what did they do to you to where you got to push their players down from the back? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Patrick Beverley, Chris Paul. They got some run-ins, consistent run-ins. And he called that man a drill cone. So it's some personal beef there. Some personal beef there. Now, had he ran up on DeAndre Ayton, head up, face first, and swung, I'd have been okay with it. I'd have been on this podcast defending him. Can't defend that sucker stuff. I can't do it.
Well, DeAndre Ayton is 7 feet tall. Patrick Beverley is 6'1" on a good day. You made the right decision, sir. there's this thing in life where you have to understand your limitations. And there's one thing to let other people put their limitations on you. But 7 feet is 7 feet. And I don't blame him. Patrick Beverley has made a career off of getting on people's nerves. He has done a great job of it. So much so, players want to fight him. If they see him in the street, they are still mad. Whatever you have to do to have an edge in your game, I'm all for it. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And in business, we like to get paid. So, whatever you have to do to get paid, i.e., get on people's nerves, there's nobody in this world that hates Patrick Beverley more than Chris Paul. I promise you. Them two guys do not like each other. But they see eye to eye. 1 6 foot, 1 6'1". So they're eye to eye. DeAndre Ayton, he looking at his belly button, he run up on. The push in the back, you got to look at the context behind it. If that wasn't an isolated incident, and there have been other jawing and other transgressions passed forth that we don't know about, can't really blame him. So I agree with him. Fuck it. Be that foxhole player. Be that guy. Be that dog that's going to go out there and have your teammates back no matter what. Because as somebody who played football, I love having people on my team that I know at the end of the day, they about to go out there and they finna get on people's nerve. We finna talk shit and we finna get in each other's face. Because that lets me know that your heart is in it. Because if you're not talking shit and you sitting there getting pushed down and you letting people walk over you, that tells me that you ain't got the heart to be in this business.
So, the early NBA stuff is crazy to me because you got all this stuff going on and nobody actually hit their stride yet. So it's cute right now. Like I don't take nothing serious till Christmas. Like I take the NBA serious at Christmas time. It's a bunch of players missing Kawhi out. I don't take none of that stuff serious. What I do take serious is Ben Simmons going back to Phill. The New Jersey Nets played Philly without Harden, without Maxey, and without Tubby Tubby. And it's a joke, Tubby Tubby is in shape. I'm not body shaming, he's in shape. However, the Nets brought in Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. And everybody want to look at the stat of Ben Simmons taking no shots in the fourth quarters. That's why he was only in 5 minutes. I don't know how many shots Kevin Durant took the whole game. 14. 14 shots. What I'm going to do with that? 14. So this the dude that went on a rant the other week. TP, I'm going to go ahead and say this. How them dudes going to win when they got to play with Kevin Durant? Ain't that what he said? Didn't he say he was having fun? Having a good time? if I'm Joe Tsai and I'm listening to these comments, I don't know if you can find a dude for not shooting, but I will find a way to do it.
I mean, let's look at the role that he's supposed to play, right? Defend and facilitate. Now, when you don't shoot the ball and you're supposed to be the facilitator, how many points are you responsible for? That stat matters. That's why they made it a stat. PRF, points responsible for, because assists matter. Isaiah Thomas wasn't the greatest scorer, but he was a great facilitator for the Detroit Pistons back in the early 90s. Magic Johnson, not the greatest scorer, but a great facilitator. And I use Magic Johnson because Ben Simmons is supposed to be this generation's version of that almost 7-foot guy that could handle the ball and facilitate. Not saying that he has the same skill set. What I'm saying is he's supposed to be a facilitator. And with that doesn't include you taking a lot of shots. You don't have to take any if your team is scoring and winning. And we can look at you as the person that's making that offense go. But if you're not doing that and you're not shooting, what the fuck are you on the court for?
Kyrie Irving was out there playing 4-on-5. Ben Simmons had 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists. Kevin Durant, who can go get 50 if he wanted to, had 20 points.
That's the problem. 11, 7, and 11 from Ben Simmons ain't the problem. Kevin Durant, that Brooklyn, that's your king? $20 points.
And let's not forget that Kyrie and Kevin Durant convinced the Nets to sign DeAndre Jordan to $40 million. You know how much DeAndre Jordan making this year? 2. From $10 million a season to 2. And then, oh man, I can't believe I'm about to do this. Kyrie comes back after a 7-game suspension after being blackmailed for $500,000 after apologizing for posting a movie he never even looked at. And he comes back. And he come back and be a distraction like he normally does. He came back in hoops. And his teammates decided, you know what? We're not going to hoop. Like, it's got to be some accountability. Like, the level of entitlement in this franchise, there is no way I'm paying luxury tax and they not even going to.
Can't coach with them. Can't win with them.
I ain't talking about 4th place in the division. I'm talking about they might not make the playoffs.
The Pacers are doing pretty good. Everybody had them dead to water. But they playing team basketball and buying into what they coach is selling. What we say, coaching matters. You know what else matters? Holding each other accountable.
A few things are going to happen if the Nets don't make the playoffs. Jacques Vaughn will never get another head coaching job. And that is from the pro-black players on this squad who was so concerned about Black Lives Matter that they didn't want to play in the bubble. But then they ran out and got Steve Nash. Let that sit with you for a second.
They grabbed him off of his daughter Little League soccer field and said, "Can you come coach the Brooklyn Nets? We're gonna get you some talent, some guys."
So
How'd that work out?
if this team does not make the playoffs, it will be a stain on Kevin Durant's career. Not Kyrie, not Ben Simmons. It will be a stain on Kevin Durant's career.
But he don't want to be a leader.
I don't care. That's not how history works. History goes, he got the most talent. He can get a bucket whenever he feel like it. He can play decent defense on a lot of people. They gonna blame him.
Whatever happened to that killer instinct?
I wish that he ever had it.
At one point he did, to an extent.
One time.
But at the end of the games, he would let Russ run it, and that's why they never won when they should have won. They had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. There's no way that there should not have been a ring there. But they didn't have a fearless leader. You ever watch Bullwinkle? Fearless leader? Yeah, they didn't have that. They had Kevin Durant, who would let a piss poor shooter take over the reins in the fourth quarter.
His entire legacy. I don't know what just happened, TP. I got disconnected for a second.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened.
Yeah, this stupid thing playing in the background. 7 Michigan State players were charged in that tunnel melee. That's just insane. I have some questions. Most of which revolve around, if my teammates don't see me in the locker room and they ain't come out to see what's going on, and I got mollywops by the opposing team, on Tuesday, I'm coming out to practice in my shorts. I don't care how cold it is outside. I'm gonna have my shorts and my helmet strapped all the way up. Y'all catch a phase, buddy. Everybody. When I get tired, y'all whoop me. When I heal up the next day, you're catching fades. Because there ain't no way I was supposed to be getting whooped by myself. Like, what did this man do to y'all to make y'all be like, no, we ain't worried about him? Is he sleeping with your girlfriend? Tell the truth, shame the devil. There's no reason that man should have been. It's one hallway. Why was he by himself? So, they've been charged. They shouldn't have been like that. But, so, now TP, I know we don't normally talk about this because Marlo be here, but there is a World Cup going on right now. And it saddens me to say, United States, out of the jaws of victory, pulled a draw against Wales, who ain't been in the World Cup in what, 20, 40 years? But it's okay. It is okay. It's okay. And the reason that it's okay is because I think Spain might still be scoring right now. They put 7-0 on Costa Rica. Like, I know it's soccer, but when you give up 7, are we not calling people out the stands to see if somebody can be the goaltender?
0 defense played.
7.
I mean, if you letting uncontested shots on your goalie happen the whole game, you got to blame more than just the goalie. That's a big ass net to defend. And when somebody's coming full speed, come on now.
But again, this is a different World Cup. It gets better. Germany lost to Japan. Germany lost to Japan. Listen, I ain't want to start no conspiracies or no rumors. We need to check and see who the Saudis bet on. We need to check and see who, I don't know how to say the citizens of Qatar, Qatarians, whatever you want to call it. We need to see who they bet on. Because this is a little too weird for me. Just a little bit. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. Messi. Saudi Arabia beat Messi.
They let them know too.
They was out there rushing reporters. Where's Messi?
The pettiness that they shown is hilarious. I didn't know they were that funny.
Oh man, this man didn't find. It's one fan went and found 2 reporters to give out bars. Where's Messi? Where he at?
Have you
Somewhere.
seen them?
If Argentina somehow makes it out the group and wins it all, y'all can blame that guy. That guy's gonna be the reason. If Argentina win, it's gonna be because of that guy.
I mean, yeah, there's another saying: don't go poking a sleeping bear, because you're not gonna like that bear when that bear wakes up.
Oh my! Like it's just. This like if you're not watching the World Cup now, you should. You should. It's fast paced. It ain't boring like baseball. It's fast paced, but the storylines, the U.S. got to beat, or at least listen.
I think it would be the storylines more so that intrigue me than the actual play of the game.
It depends. Like England plays a very boring style of soccer. A very boring style of soccer. We need to jump on them and get 3 goals quick and get them out the way. Because
I would rather watch lacrosse.
I'm just gonna move on then, damn it.
At least they hit each other in lacrosse.
Wow. So it looked like TCU was gonna make the playoffs. Now there is some far-flung conspiracy that Kansas State. Let's go to standings. Kansas State beats Kansas. All right. Yeah. So here's the thing. So Kansas beats Kansas State this weekend, and then puts Texas in a Big 12 championship game, and then Texas beats TCU, and then TCU's knocked out. Now, I saw this from a TikTok from a Texas alum podcaster. And I thought, ain't no way. But if Kansas somehow beats Kansas State, by the way, Kansas is 6-5. They somehow beat Kansas State, which is 8-3. Then Texas goes into the championship game, and it's anybody's ball game from that point. Now, for me personally, I want pandemonium. I want TCU to get into the playoffs. I want Ohio State to blow out Michigan.
It won't be a blowout.
I need a blowout. If Ohio State blows out, that's just because Michigan run the ball.
Exactly. They run the ball and they play good defense. It won't be a blowout. I think Ohio State wins that game, but it won't be a blowout.
See, without it being a blowout, I don't get pandemonium, because what happens is Ohio State loses, drops, pulls LSU up, and now we got LSU, Georgia, Michigan, and TCU. I don't want that. I want pandemonium. So I want Georgia.
What about USC?
That's what I'm saying. Oh, wait a minute.
And then
if Georgia beats the dog shit out of LSU,
and
USC gets in.
Hey, did I not tell y'all what game y'all needed to watch last week? I called the game of the week, and the game of the week was USC versus UCLA. Yeah. If you like offense, the final score was 48-45.
They played in the Big 12.
But it was a good game. It was hard hitting. It was fast paced. You had all the emotions. The quarterback for UCLA, he's been beating the shit out of USC. And they were tired of it. They were tired of it. And their quarterback for USC, if you haven't seen him, very, 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 very reminiscent of Pat Mahomes. Very reminiscent. The throwing off the run, different platforms of releasing the ball, the sidearm delivery, he got it all. But it was a good game. It was a great game. Best game of the weekend, if you ask me. But USC is 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
They say, "Where's my party invitation?" Oh, y'all gotta beat Oregon first, so we'll get back to y'all in a bit.
Yeah.
Because the Pac-12 championship game, that's gonna be who decides gets that 4th spot.
Well,
and we can talk about Michigan, Ohio State. We know one of those teams are gonna make it. You look at the Big 12. If TCU loses at any point, no Big 12 team will be in the playoffs. I don't know if we thought about that. If TCU loses at any point, no Big 12 team will be in the playoffs, making it more of a reason for the Longhorns to leave.
So, speaking of which, Oregon got beat by Washington last week.
They did.
So we gonna see. But you know what?
But they still gonna end up in the Pac-12 championship game, and they're gonna have to play USC.
Yeah. TP, this a special week this week. Like, again, it's a conflicting week, right? Because, I mean, full disclosure, I don't like Florida State head coach. But we finna play Florida.
I'm so glad they brought this game back, by the way, because it had went away for a few years.
There, in my lifetime, right? Actually, not my whole lifetime. In my college career, this game determined the national championship or who was going to go play for it. There was a point that the national championship ran through the state of Florida.
I mean, you just completely forgetting about Miami. When did you go to college?
I'm not forgetting about Miami right now. Right now, I feel sorry for Miami.
I'm thinking it was around the late '80s, early '90s.
I wasn't in college then. Fuck Miami. But it's that week.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell y'all about a kid he was at Florida State with a burnt orange box Chevy with a gator spray painted on the car. Nice little candy on the paint job, rims. We ain't had 24s back then. It was like 22s.
Hey, before you move to the next thing, I'm just gonna let you know that Florida does not wear burnt orange. They wear crushed orange. Longhorns wear burnt orange.
My bad. The crushed orange of Florida. I didn't really give a shit what orange they wear.
Hey, it matters.
Fuck them dudes.
It matters because we wear the burnt orange, and you're not gonna confuse us with them. That's why it matters.
But although times have changed and the stakes in this game is different, there are still some stakes in this game. A few things you need to understand. Florida State's record is fugazi. It's that $2 an inch gold that you used to get in the mall back in the day. That's Florida State's record. I'm honest about our record. A lot of people ain't gonna be honest with you. It's some alumni to think like, oh man, dude, calm down. Pipe down. One round is not a fuck fest. Know thyself. We are in the building phase. Now, Florida is not what they expect it to be. And unlike Florida State, Florida fans have no patience with their coaches. None. You could be a winning coach and say something stupid like, I ain't got to spend 40 hours a week recruiting. They will get you out of there. And then go find a coach down in the bayous of Louisiana who understand the importance of players. This game is important because although they're doing bad, it's still Florida State. This is for bragging rights. These kids gonna have to see each other Christmas break. Fans gonna have to talk to their neighbors. I got clients that I'm not gonna talk to. Don't call me, don't email me, don't text me. I don't want to talk to you till the game over. And God forbid we lose, I'm not gonna talk to you for 2 days. There are Florida. I once upon a time, TP, I dated a girl. In the middle of the Florida State game, she rooted for Florida. Get out. I can't be with you. We can't be friends. We can't be sneaky links. Like, matter of fact, lose my number, I'm gonna block you.
That would be like me dating a Sooner.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
I'd die sooner than I date a Sooner. How about that?
And this is that week. This is the week. This is that week for us. Like, this used to be called Rivalry Weekend. It doesn't have the same bite that it used to have.
I mean, but Ohio State, Michigan, like, that gotta be at the top of your list of games to watch. It has the biggest implications. It really does. They're both undefeated. When's the last time we saw a Michigan-Ohio State game where they both were undefeated? It matters. But you know what I don't? You know what I don't want to see? I don't want to see Alabama in the playoffs without even having to play in the SEC championship game. That's what I don't want to see.
I don't think they're that close.
They are. They're number 7.
Oh my God.
They're number 7. LSU. Oh, look, and the teams above them: LSU, USC, and Michigan.
And here's like, look.
I don't know how your math is, but that's 3 teams that's probably gonna fuck up between now and then.
I want to be a delusional fan. I do. I want to be a delusional Florida State fan. I want to be delusional and be like, we beat LSU. I want to be that guy, but I can't because I know what greatness look like. I know what coaching look like. I know what it looks like. But for 3 hours on Friday, I don't have no problem being delusional. I don't have no problem thinking that Mike Norville is the second coming of Brad Scott. I'm gonna be that guy. I'll be that guy. And motherfucker, if it's a 3-point field goal that's sitting in front of you, you gonna kick that field goal.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Alabama gonna be in the playoffs. Alabama gonna be in the playoffs. I'm sorry to say it.
Let's look.
They gonna make the playoffs and not even have to play in the SEC championship game.
Oh, TP. Let's look at.
It's gonna happen. There's no way around it. There's no way around it.
Hold on.
Look at the CFP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, there's no way around it. Alabama makes the playoffs without playing in the SEC championship game.
SC could get in. That still knocks out 1, 2, 3. SC could be that 14.
If TCU loses at any point,
CTP?
Alabama is in.
That is not the pandemonium we want.
I'm telling you right now. Look at it.
Oh, man.
Even if USC wins out, let's see. USC wins out. There's no way LSU and Georgia can win out because one of them have to lose in the SEC championship game.
And Ohio State and Michigan. 2 losses.
Ohio State and Michigan, one of them has to lose because they're playing each other.
Oh my God.
Who does that leave?
Clemson.
But they're at number 8. They may get it based off of winning the ACC championship game, but as of right now, Alabama is ranked higher.
Oh,
They have more first place votes because Clemson went and got the dog shit beat out of them. They got the dog shit beat out of them by Notre Dame.
It's
Alabama makes the playoffs. What is it? November 23rd? You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
It's
Alabama.
Pandemonium. Absolute pandemonium. So there's some rumors going around about Lane Kiffin going to Auburn. And Lane spoke to his players and said, I have not agreed to go coach nowhere. Now,
that doesn't mean you ain't talked to him, but
that part. At a certain level of coaching, coaches don't talk to other schools about leaving the school they're at. They got agents for that. And also that statement said, I have not talked to anybody, and he hasn't, about coaching at another school.
No, he said he hasn't agreed to leave.
Oh, I'm sorry. Agreed to leave to go to another school.
Not that he hasn't talked about it.
And side note, there's a lot of rumors going around about Deion Sanders talking to Colorado and USF about the head coaching jobs. So let me go ahead and clear up one of them right now about USF. Jackson State has better facilities than USF. So all of that USF stuff, ignore it. Ignore it. Colorado, I don't know. Here's what I do know.
Colorado University got money. I'm gonna put that out there. They got money. Now they are dead last in the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
They've won one game.
So the likelihood of, let's just be honest, it's more likely.
If I was Deion, I'm not going to rebuild in the Pac-12. That's not a place you go to rebuild any program.
You cannot survive on in-state players.
Not in Colorado. Not in Colorado.
Hell, when they won the national championship, most of their players was from California.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and how long ago was that?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So, shout out to the greatest fullback name in the history of football, Hemingway. Just imagine getting ran over by a dude that you had to read his works. Oh, Coach, I think I got a concussion. What's wrong? I got ran over by Hemingway. Well, it's that time of the week, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple things off my chest. It's Thanksgiving week, Friendsgiving, whatever your variation on it. I say Thanksgiving not necessarily because of the colonizers and all of that. I say Thanksgiving because I am thankful for the things I have and the family that I have, and all the great things. I'm thankful for the fans that watch. I'm thankful for the people that like to watch the TikToks. It's Thanksgiving for me. That being said, we need to get some shit straight. Because I'm tired of seeing your TikToks. Rhonda, I'm tired of seeing your Christmas videos on Facebook. It's Thanksgiving. until we get done eating the sweet potato pie, it is still Thanksgiving. If ain't no old lady been pushed over in Walmart for the Black Friday deals, it is still Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is officially over when it is 4:30 and you are making your way to Target to get that 80-inch TV you've been looking at for 2 weeks. That just look good too. That officially starts the Christmas season. Don't turn on your Christmas tree lights. I'm snitching. I'm calling the police. You created a disturbance. I will then turn into Uncle Ruckus. I don't want to see none of that. It is Thanksgiving. Christmas don't start till after Thanksgiving. It's okay. Thanksgiving actually is a holiday. So, apparently, unless you're in the Caribbean, then they have some other kind of Thanksgiving. They got some different food, but shout out to you TikToks. But around here, at 120, 20, 20, 20, when Cuzzo gonna be outside smoking that good stuff, it's Thanksgiving. Thank y'all. TP, what y'all got?
For me, Thanksgiving lasts until that last bite of dressing is gone from the refrigerator. It's leftovers last about a good 3-4 days. So what? Thanksgiving on the 24th? Yeah, it's gonna last about the 28th for your boy. Cranberry sauce, all that. But look, I'm thankful for a lot of things in life. Thankful for good health, the good health of my wife and kids, my mom, my brother back home, and the rest of my family. I always pray for strength and good health. And we've been pretty good in that area. So that is something that I'm extremely grateful for. I'm extremely grateful to not have to wonder where my next meal will come from. Something that a lot of people in the world can't say. And I pray that those are no longer their struggles in the future. I appreciate everybody that come and watch and laugh and and everything with the podcast. We may not be professionals, but I feel like we have very good insight as to what goes on into the sports world and the commentation behind that. It's going to be another great day of football tomorrow. Football and turkey go hand in hand. You can't go wrong. But with that, the Cowboys still suck. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh man. Oh wow. TP with the shots on the way out the door. Oh, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. Marlo is on a cruise with his family, enjoying the Caribbean. He will be back next week. And for those who missed us talking about the Florida Classic, there are some videos on my TikTok from Classic Weekend. I was sober, so enjoy. There are reasons why I was sober. I won't get into that here, but I was sober. So again, enjoy those videos. I will be posting TikToks during the Florida State game. I apologize in advance to Mike Norville. Kick the field goal. You won't have no issues out of me. But again, I apologize in advance. So that being said, thank you for coming out, ladies and gentlemen.